Hello everyone. I just started this, so there's nobody here yet, but they will collect. I'm starting in the 2-minute mark. Okay, keeping track of my time now. Starting in the 2-minute mark for those of you that are watching the recorded archived version. So what's this about? I get told by countless people that I should start recording my voice for different self-guided meditations or just reading some of my blog posts and making CDs because apparently I have a soothing voice, a lot of people tell me. Welcome everybody. Tons of people showing up now. Starting in the 2-minute mark, which is about a minute and a half from now. Hi Lisa. Really nice to see you. Always really nice to see you. So I'm doing this because I'm told by countless people, I'm told by countless people I should, so this is going to be a test run of sorts. See if there really is any interest. I mean, one of the most common things I hear about is, Tom, you got to record your voice because it's soothing. I like listening to it. You could do positive readings and read blog posts and make self-guided meditation CDs and things like that. So we're going to find out. This is a test run of sorts. And I'm going to start in a little less than a minute. I'm just going to pick a few, well, I'll wait till we get started. Welcome everyone. More and more people are joining. Hi Linda. Always so faithful. Hi Melissa. Starting in about a half minute or a little over a half minute from now. I'm just going to repeat myself because people are falling in. On the 2-minute mark, I'm basically going to I'm going to read some of my blog posts as a test run to see how it goes because I'm told by lots of people all the time that I need to start recording my voice and making CDs available or something like that, of just reading blog posts and positive things and maybe self-guided meditation stuff. And we're just about at the 2-minute mark. So, yes, we're there. Okay, welcome everyone. So here's how it's going to go. I'm going to read some of my blog posts. I'm going to respond to everybody, but it's going to be in between readings. When I'm reading, I'm just reading and I'll respond to you between readings. But I'm going to read some of my blog posts. And I'm told regularly by people that I should start doing this and maybe make some CDs, some packages that people can get, maybe self-guided meditation stuff, for healing purposes, because apparently a lot of people think I have a soothing voice, which I don't think I do. I don't even like my voice, but if it's going to help people, I'll give it a shot. So this is a test run. Comment if you have questions about stuff that I'm reading. Comment even if you're watching the recorded version or the current live version. Just comment. I will get back to probably almost anybody. Comment your interests that you have or ideas that you have for what I should be doing with my voice, if anything at all. And if you have questions about the content itself that I'm going to be reading, feel free to ask me anything that you wish, okay? So I'm going to get started now. And the first blog that I'm going to read, I'm just going to my website, tomberkenmeyer.com, the way that it's spelled on my social media. Hi Heather. Hi Evie. tomberkenmeyer.com, take out the space, all lowercase. I'm just going there, and what I have published right now today is February 12th, 2017. So I'm going to go through the titles, and I'll just read a few of them, and I will respond to everybody in between readings, okay? And we'll see how the test run goes. Let's see here. So far at this date, my last blog post was just 3 days ago. Learn passive and residual money. It has everything to do with you. Why not? No, I'll do that one second. Okay, the one before that one was February 8th. This one I'm going to do first. More fighting than ever on social media and what we can do about it. So here we go. As I'm reading this, comment, and I'll get back to you. This is a very short one. More fighting than ever on social media and what we can do about it. I'm very impressed with anybody who wants to genuinely understand the other side of an issue. There is so much arguing and fighting today. They just want to argue to be right, which is self-absorbed and creates division with immaturity. They have no desire to understand the people they are fighting. All the while, both sides want the same things, but are too immature to close their communication gaps. The only people worse than politicians are we the people. We the people are the real dividers, and the only thing we the people are better at than creating divisions is shunting personal responsibility onto politicians or whatever is convenient to get out of critically thinking, to solve our problems. And then I posted a really sweet video beneath that one where I go much deeper into it. So if you got interest in that, you may want to check out my blog. Depending on when you're watching this, I've got a search engine on my blog site. Just look for More Fighting Than Ever on social media and what we can do about it. Okay. Let's see if there's any comments about that. Let's see. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Heather. Hello, Renate. It's awesome news. Thank you, Renate. Thank you, Melissa. Thanks for calling me handsome. Keeps cutting off. Is it cutting off for everybody else too? Katie, I agree with you. That's cool, Katie. Thank you. Lisa, very sweet emojicons. Okay, thanks everyone for commenting. Feel free to ask questions, and if you want to engage me, you're welcome to engage me as well. So I'm going to do the next one now, which is going to be learn passive and residual money. It has everything to do with you. I can't just read something, it has to be animated. Melissa, I see your question. I'm going to come back to you after this blog post, and everybody else too for that matter. Let's see here. Learn passive and residual money. It has everything to do with you. Feel free to share this to perpetuate some great ideas that challenge a status quo that manages sickness and poverty. Your boss and your boss's boss are victims of the same pyramid scam as you. Your unquestionable obedience is demanded of you through dependency of money at your job. You don't have to keep dying underneath the thumbs of the top 0.1% who are needy for your unquestionable obedience. Learn passive and residual money. The ultimate F you to an establishment of the top 1% that's crushing you with money dependency is for you to build your own passive and residual money. And as a wonderful byproduct, you evolve into a free human being with more stability and security than a job could ever offer you. Most of the self-employed are victims of the same unquestionable obedience through money dependency, which is very ironic because the main motivation behind the self-employed is freedom, and it ends up backfiring on them. And that's it. That's the only thing I put in there. Another very short blog. I'll probably do a longer one next. So let's see if there's anything engaging here during the reading of that one. So far, this test run is showing that there's not much interest in this because people are dropping like flies. Let's see, do you think other, Melissa says, do you think other presidents were more for the country or Trump better at, Melissa, I'm sorry, if you want to retype your sentence, it's so badly fragmented, I can't tell what you were trying to send me. On the road, saw you made this horrid day better. Have a good one. Hey, already this one is worth it. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to get to the next one here. So this test run, it's up to you guys if you want to see more of this, because I'm told by so many people I need to be doing this. But there's a difference between what I'm told is a great idea to what is actually a great idea by the results that I see, or lack of results. This video is not getting much results. And that's okay. If there's no interest, I just won't do anymore. The next one I'm going to do is passion is impossible. I love this one. Passion is impossible while you're controlled and manipulated through money dependency. You can sort of see a theme by now as to the stuff that I write about. Linda, I hope the connection is better. Welcome back. Let me know. I'll check back up. I'm going to read another blog entry. Passion is impossible while you're controlled and manipulated through money dependency. Trending on Facebook is posts about passion and doing what you love and positive affirmations and all that stuff. Doing what you love is impossible when you're controlled through money dependency to pay your bills and eat. Finding your passion is great and all, but passion is so much easier to find when you're not controlled and manipulated by the dependency of money to eat and pay bills. Google research passive and residual money. Residual and passive money is your freedom to do what you want with your life. Here are 10 reasons. This will take a little while. Here are 10 reasons you should do everything in your power to avoid having a job ever again. This is next part is written by Steve Pavlina, and I thought you would love it. I thought you would get lit up over it, so I'm going to read it to you. This will take a few minutes, more than a few minutes. So have a cup of caffeine-free herbal tea and absorb, and comment. Engage me in return, okay? Number 1. Income for dummies. Getting a job and trading your time for money may seem like a good idea. There's only one problem with it. It's stupid. It's the stupidest way you can possibly generate income. This is truly income for dummies. Why is getting a job so dumb? Because you only get paid when you're working. Don't you see a problem with that, or have you been so thoroughly brainwashed into thinking it's reasonable and intelligent to only earn income when you're working? Have you never considered that it might be better to be paid even when you're not working? Who taught you that you could only earn income while working? Some other brainwashed employee, perhaps? Don't you think your life would be much easier if you got paid while you were eating, sleeping, and playing with the kids too? Why not get paid 24/7? You get paid whether you work or not. Don't your plants grow even when you aren't tending to them? Why not your bank account? Who cares how many hours you work? Only a handful of people on this entire planet care how much time you spend at the office. Most of us won't even notice whether you work 6 hours a week or 60. But if you have something of value to provide that matters to us, a number of us will be happy to pull out our wallets and pay you for it. We don't care about your time. We only care enough to pay for the value that we receive. Do you really care how long it took me to write this article? Would you pay me twice as much if it took me 6 hours versus only 3? Non-dummies often start out on the traditional income for dummies path. So don't feel bad if you're just now realizing you've been suckered. Dummies eventually realize that trading time for money is indeed extremely dumb, like my reading, and that there must be a better way. And of course there is a better way. The key is to decouple your value from your time. Smart people build systems that generate income 24/7, especially passive income. This can include starting a business, building a website, becoming an investor, or generating royalty income from creative work. The system delivers the ongoing value to people and generates income from it. And once it's in motion, it runs continuously whether you tend to it or not. From that moment on, the bulk of your time can be invested in increasing your income by refining your system or spawning new ones instead of merely maintaining your income, like at a job. This website is an example of such a system. At the time of its writing, it generates about $9,000 a month in income. Update, $40,000 a month as of October 2006, and it isn't my only income stream either. I write each article just once, fixed time investment, and people can extract value from them year after year. The web server delivers value. Other systems, most of which I didn't even build and don't understand, collect income and deposit it automatically into my bank account. It's not perfectly passive, but I love writing, and I would do it for free anyway. But of course, it cost me a lot of money to launch this business, right? Yeah, $9 is an awful lot these days to register the domain name. Everything after that was profit. Sure, it takes some upfront time and effort to design and implement your own income-generating system, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Feel free to use existing systems like ad networks and affiliate programs. Network marketing, duh. Once you get going, you won't have to work so many hours to support yourself. Wouldn't it be nice to be out having dinner with your spouse, knowing that while you're eating, you're earning money? If you want to keep working long hours because you enjoy it, go right ahead. If you want to sit around doing nothing, feel free. As long as your system continues delivering you value, as long as your system continues delivering value to others, you'll keep getting paid whether you're working or not. You're not going to learn that at school, believe me. Your local bookstore is filled with books containing workable systems others have already designed, tested, and debugged. Nobody is born knowing how to start a business or generate investment income, but you can easily learn it. How long it takes you to figure it out is irrelevant because the time is going to pass anyway. You might as well emerge at some future point as the owner of income-generating systems as opposed to a lifelong wage slave. This isn't all or nothing. If your system only generates a few $100s a month, that's a significant step in the right direction. Little side note here. When I first got started, I was, a couple hundred extra a month, but it built on top of itself to where it's a couple thousand extra a month, couple thousand extra a week, and it's like, I don't need a job anymore. This is pretty cool. And it kept coming in whether I was working or taking a vacation. That's freedom. Okay, moving along. Number 2 of the 10 reasons. Limited experience. You might think it's impossible to get a job to gain experience, but that's like saying, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. You might think it's important to get a job to get experience. You might think it's important to get a job to gain experience, but that's like saying you should play golf to get experience playing golf. You gain experience from living, regardless of whether you have a job or not. A job only gives you experience at that job, but you gain experience doing just about anything. So that's no real benefit at all. Sit around doing nothing for a couple of years, and you can call yourself an experienced meditator, philosopher, or politician. The problem with getting experience from a job is that you usually just repeat the same limited experience over and over. You learn a lot in the beginning and then stagnate. This forces you to miss other experiences that would be much more valuable. And if your limited skill set ever becomes obsolete, then your experience won't be worth squat. In fact, ask yourself what the experience you're gaining right now will be worth in 20 to 30 years. Will your job even exist then? Oh, that's hitting home for most people's jobs here in America. Consider this. Which experience would you rather gain? The knowledge of how to do a specific job really well, one that you can only monetize by trading your time for money, or the knowledge of how to enjoy financial abundance for the rest of your life without ever needing a job ever again? Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather have the latter experience. Me too. That seems a lot more useful in the real world, wouldn't you say? Number 3 as to why you should do everything in your power to never have a job ever again. Lifelong domestication. Getting a job is like enrolling in a human domestication program. You learn how to be a good pet. Look around you. Really look. What do you see? Are these the surroundings of free human beings, or are you living in a cage for unconscious animals? Have you fallen in love with the color beige yet? How's your obedience training coming along? Does your master reward your good behavior? Do you get disciplined if you fail to obey your master's commands? Is there any spark of free will left inside of you, or has your conditioning made you a pet for life? Humans are not meant to be raised in cages, you poor thing. Number 4 as to why you should do everything in your power to never have to have a job ever again. Too many mouths to feed. Employee income is the most heavily taxed there is. In the USA, you can expect that about half your salary will go to taxes. The tax system is designed to disguise how much you are really giving up, because some of those taxes are paid by your employer, and some are deducted from your paycheck. But you can bet that from your employer's perspective, all of those taxes are considered part of your pay, as well as any other compensation you receive, such as benefits. Even the rent for the office space you consume is considered, so you must generate that much more value to cover it. You might feel supported by your corporate environment, but keep in mind that you're the one paying for it. Another chunk of your income goes to owners and investors. That's a lot of mouths to feed. It isn't hard to understand why employees pay the most in taxes relative to their income. After all, who has more control over the tax system, business owners and investors, or employees? You only get paid a fraction of the real value that you generate. What a scam that is. Your real salary may be more than triple what you're paid, but most of that money you'll never see. It goes straight into other people's pockets. What a generous person you are. Number 5 as to why you should do everything in your power to never be needy for a job ever again. It's way too risky. Many employees believe getting a job is the safest and most secure way to support themselves. Morons! Social conditioning is amazing. It's so good it can even make people believe the exact opposite of the truth. Does putting yourself in a position where someone else can turn off all your income just by saying the words, "You're fired," sound like a safe and secure situation to you? Does having only one income stream honestly sound more secure than having 10? The idea that a job is the most secure way to generate income is just silly. You cannot have security if you don't have control, and employees have the least control of anyone. If you're an employee, then your real job title should be professional gambler. Number 6 as to why you should do everything in your power to never be needy for the sick codependency on an income from a job ever again. It's having an evil bovine master. When you run into an idiot in the entrepreneurial world, you can turn around and head the other way. When you run into an idiot in the corporate world, you have to turn around and say, "Sorry, boss." Did you know that the word boss comes from the Dutch word baas, which historically means master? Another meaning of the word boss is a cow or bovine. And in many video games, the boss is the evil dude that you have to kill at the end of a level. So, if your boss is really your evil bovine master, then what does that make you? Nothing but a turd in the herd. Who's your daddy? Steve Polina wrote that. Number 7 as to why you should do everything in your power to never ever be controlled and manipulated ever again through money dependency at your job. It's begging for money. When you want to increase your income, do you have to sit up and beg your master for more money? Does it feel good to be thrown some extra Scooby snacks now and then? Or are you free to decide how much you get paid without needing anyone's permission but your own? If you have a business and one customer says no to you, you can simply say, "Next." Number 8, for reasons as to why you should do everything in your power to never ever be needy for a paycheck ever again in your life. It's an inbred social life. Many people treat their jobs as their private. They hang out with the people working in the same field. Such incestuous relations are social dead ends. An exciting day includes deep conversations about the company's switch from sparklets to arrowheads, the delay of Microsoft's latest operating system, and the unexpected delivery of more Bic pens. Consider, what would it be like to go outside and talk to strangers? Ooh, scary. Better stay inside where it's safe. If one of your co-slaves gets sold to another master, do you lose a friend? If you work in a male-dominated field, does that mean you never get to talk to women above the rank of receptionist? Why not decide for yourself whom to socialize with instead of letting your master decide for you? Believe it or not, there are locations on this planet where free people congregate. Just be wary of those jobless folks. They're a crazy bunch. Number 9, for 10 reasons why you should do everything in your power to never ever be needy for a sick codependency in a job that offers you a paycheck to control and manipulate you through the dependency of money to pay your bills and feed your family. It's a loss of freedom. It takes a lot of effort to turn a human being into an employee. The first thing you have to do is break the human's independent will. A good way to do this is to give them a weighty policy manual filled with nonsensical rules and regulations. This leads the new employee to become more obedient, fearing that he or she could be disciplined at any minute for something incomprehensible. Thus, the employee will likely conclude it's safest to just simply obey the master's commands without question. Stir in some office politics for good measure, and we've got a freshly minted mind slave. As part of their obedience training, employees must be taught how to dress, talk, move, and so on. We can't very well have employees thinking for themselves, now can we? That would ruin everything. God forbid you should put on a plant on your desk when it's against the company policy. Oh no, it's the end of the world. Cindy has a plant on her desk. Summon the enforcers. Send Cindy back for another round of sterility training. Free human beings think such rules and regulations are silly, of course. The only policy they need is be smart, be nice, do what you love, have fun. Number 10 on a list of why you should do everything in your power to fire your boss and never allow yourself to be in a position where you can be controlled and manipulated through the dependency of money to pay your bills and feed your family ever again. It's becoming a coward. Have you noticed that employed people have an almost endless capacity to whine about their problems at their companies? But they don't really want solutions. They just want to vent and make excuses why it's all someone else's fault. It's as if getting a job somehow drains all the free will out of people and turns them into spineless cowards. If you can't call your boss a jerk now and then without fear of getting fired, you're no longer free. You've become your master's property. When you work around cowards all day long, don't you think it's going to rub off on you? Of course it will. It's only a matter of time before you sacrifice the noblest parts of your humanity on the altar of fear. First courage, then honesty, then honor, and then integrity. And finally, your independent free will. You sold your humanity for nothing but an illusion. And now your greatest fear is discovering the truth of what you've become. I don't care how badly you've been beaten down. It's never too late to regain your courage. Never. Still want a job? If you're currently a well-conditioned, well-behaved employee, your most likely reaction to the above will be defensiveness. It's all part of the conditioning, but consider that if the above didn't have a grain of truth to it, you wouldn't have an emotional reaction at all. This is only a reminder of what you already know. You can deny your cage all you want, but the cage is still there. Perhaps this all happened so gradually that you never noticed it until now. Like a lobster enjoying a nice warm bath. That's become your life. If any of this makes you mad, that's a step in the right direction. Anger is a higher level of consciousness than apathy. So it's a lot better than being numb all the time. Any emotion, even confusion, is better than apathy. If you work through your feelings instead of repressing them, you'll soon emerge on the doorstep of courage. And when that happens, you'll have the will to actually do something about your situation and start living like the powerful human being you were meant to be instead of the domesticated pet you've been trained to be at your job. Happiless, jobless. Happily, I can read really well. Happily jobless. What's the alternative to getting a job? It's to be happily jobless. The alternative is to remain happily jobless for life and to generate income through other means, realizing that you earn income by providing value, not time. So find a way to provide your best value to others and charge a fair price for it. One of the simplest and most accessible ways to start your own business. Whatever work you'd otherwise do via employment, find a way to provide that same value directly so those who will benefit most from it. It takes a bit more time to get it going, but your freedom is easily worth the initial investment of time and energy. Then you can buy your own Scooby snacks for a change instead of getting them from your evil bovine master like your boss. And of course, everything you learn along the way, you can share with others to generate even more value. So even your mistakes can be monetized. One of the greatest, by the way, I know something about that. I was in special ed classes and a straight D student. D as in David, straight D student, special ed, and I've monetized all of that. Not as an employee, but as my own independent, free will thinking person. It's not available at a job. A job is income for dummies. Anyway, moving along. One of the greatest fears you'll confront is that you may not have any real value to offer others. Maybe being an employee and getting paid by the hour is the best you can do. Maybe you just aren't worth that much. That line of thinking is just all part of your conditioning. It's absolute nonsense. As you begin to dump such brainwashing, you'll soon recognize that you have the ability to provide enormous value to others, and that people will gladly pay you for it. There's only one thing that prevents you from seeing this truth: fear. All you really need is the courage to be yourself. Your real value is rooted in who you are, not what you do. The only thing you need actually do is express your real self to the world. You've been told all sorts of lies as to why you can't do that. But you'll never know true happiness and fulfillment until you summon the courage to do it anyway. The next time someone says to you, "Get a job," I suggest you reply as Curly did, "No, please, anything but that," and then poke them right in the eyes. You already know deep down that getting a job isn't what you want. So don't let anyone try to tell you otherwise. Learn to trust your inner wisdom, even if the whole world says you're wrong, you're foolish for doing so. Years from now, you'll look back and realize it was one of the best decisions you ever made. I'm going to add my 2 cents here. He's so correct. When I went to an opportunity meeting back in 2007, I was the only person in the room that signed up. I was also the only one that was completely had no income, no job. Everyone else did. I was the only one that had no means to pay for it, but I figured it out anyway. I got signed up anyway. Now, fast forward 10 years later, all those fools are still wage slaves. They're still totally controlled and manipulated through money. They have to make decisions around if they have time and money to do this or that. Not me. I did the complete opposite of the masses, so I get to live a life of freedom, which is the opposite of the tyrannical lifestyle the masses live. And it's a self-inside job. So somebody really has to draw a line in the sand, as I did that fateful day 10 years ago. I drew a line in the sand and jumped over with not 1 foot, but both feet. And that just really goes along with what Steve wrote here that I'm reading. So let's continue to move along. Have you enjoyed this? Was it helpful in breaking some circular thought patterns you might have been stuck in? Do you know anyone who could benefit from this? Sharing is caring. Share with friends and family. By the way, if you love health and fitness and you want to learn how to make passive and residual money with health and fitness like I do, private message me. All right, that was my rambling that I read. But yeah, that's me. Seriously, health and fitness, you want to learn how, private message me. And it all goes in alignment with having the courage to be yourself. That's all it takes to be an entrepreneur and develop passive money, is to have the courage to be yourself. And most people don't have the courage to be themselves. Most people have hidden agendas. Most people have these bullshit facades they build to protect themselves from. And most people's priority isn't to positively impact other people. They say it is, but most people's priority by what they do is the self-preservation of their image in the eyes of other people. That's the priority. That's what most people have. So you flip that around, do it the opposite of most people. Find out what most people are doing, how they think, how they spend their time and their money. Do the complete opposite. Run the opposite direction as fast as you can, and you will be unusually successful. Most people are not themselves, so you know you must be yourself if you want to be unusually successful. The unreserved version of yourself, and you can do it. And if you want to see what I'm doing with health and fitness, of course, private message me. I'm happy to share it. All right, I'm going to move on to another blog now, after I look at some of this stuff here. Thanks, Carol. Christy, love you too, sweetie. Melissa, I hate the industries. Hi, Holly. Gothic Wiccan, I think Trump's for. Well, I don't want to talk politics, Melissa, so I hope that's okay. If it isn't okay, well, I'm still not talking about politics. I think I'm going to do one more reading, and then I'm going to stop, unless there's some more engagement here. Otherwise, I'm going to stop. So let's see here. Okay, I might do 2 more because I really enjoy these next 2. So a big FU to an industry that profits from managing sickness and poverty. I love that title. It's loading right now. I'll read it and then I'll go back after the reading and I'll go through the comments here. So engage me as I'm reading this and I'll come back and I will respond to you, okay? So here we go. A big FU to industries that profit from managing sickness and poverty. Written by me. The biggest FU you could give to the industries that profit from managing your sickness is to evolve into an independently healthy and free human being. Plant-based, delicious whole foods, blood-circulating physical activities, mental stimulation, sexual stimulation, no stress responses to anything anymore. wonderful, rejuvenating, deep, sound sleep. I personally have had no flu shot, no vaccines, no pharmaceutical drugs of any kind in over 10 years, and I never get sick anymore. I don't even do aspirin. I mean, seriously, no pharmaceutical-graded medications of any kind, no vaccines, no flu shots in over a decade, and I never get sick. I wonder why. I'll repeat the reason why one more time. Plant-based, delicious whole foods, blood-circulating physical activities, mental stimulation, and sexual stimulation, no stress response to anything, and wonderful, rejuvenating, deep, sound sleep. You do those things on a daily basis, and you just might build up an immune system so strong you won't need pharmaceuticals anymore. But, disclaimer, check with your doctor. That's up to you. I'm not writing this to diagnose or treat anyone, so take responsibility for yourself and include your doctor as part of your team, for which you personally have to make decisions for and live with the rewards or the consequences of your decisions for the rest of what is left of your life. A lifestyle of daily, natural defense-building activities is the only faithful way to live. Otherwise, you devolve into a cash cow sucker for pharmaceutical companies whose goal is to help you die as slowly as possible. Feel free to share this and pass this message along. All right, I love that one. Let's see, was there any comments? There's no more engagements, so yes, this will truly be the last one unless the pendulum swings the other direction, okay? So far at first glance, this test run is a total failure. If you guys have any interest in this at all, speak up. If you are interested in this at all and you're just going to be a bumping along, then you are part of a problem. So don't be a... Mike Edeker! I just saw you yesterday. So, before I get started on my next reading, I'm going to direct everyone to Michael Edeker, who just started watching. He's my drummer. In fact, he's been my only drummer anytime I've played out, all 2 times, and we're going to play out again for actually a 3rd and a 4th time, this March 31st and April 1st. We're going to be covering some Rat songs. Going to be metalizing them up a bit more, and hopefully making them even more interesting than they already are. Okay, so my last reading of the day for this test run here. The title of this one is Sick of Money Dependency Controlling and Manipulating You. I Have a Plan. So I bought a house a couple of months ago. It's about 3 months ago now. I am going to buy 2 more houses before the end of this year. At least 2 more. They will house low-income families without threatening their ability to put food on the table. I paid for my house with cash, so I have no rent or mortgage. I don't have a job. I travel a lot too, just because it's so much fun. If I was another sucker with a job, I would never be able to do these kinds of things, ever. When I started my journey, I had no income. I had very little free time. I had no skills. I was a straight D student and held back a year in special ed classes. I was eager for correction and learning a better way than to be an obedient sucker with a job controlled and manipulated through money dependency. Question how you earn your money, friends. Question it. Learn about passive and residual money. It's not just a different way to make money like at your job. Passive and residual money is a superior way to earn money. It's not equal, it's superior versus inferior. Like, you know, your hamster wheel paycheck that you get at a job is inferior to passive and residual money. Passive and residual is your big chance to totally detach yourself, decouple yourself from money and from being controlled and manipulated through the dependency of that money by people who need your unquestionable obedience. What a scam. What a pyramid scheme. Every job, 100% of every job, is a pyramid scam, bar none. No exceptions. Think about it. In a pyramid scheme, In a pyramid scheme, it's the few people, one, two, three, a few people at the top that make the bulk of the money, and everyone else gets the scraps as you go down. That's your job at any company you could ever possibly work for. Pyramid scam. What a scam. And the last line of this particular blog entry of mine, if you'd like to work with me, I don't charge any fees. I'm not going to sell you something that you don't want or need, and you're welcome to contact me about it. Feel free. And that's the last one I think I'm going to read for now. So at first glance, I don't think that this was a very successful test run, but I didn't give any warning. I didn't even let my newsletter know that I was doing this. It's just very impromptu based on the feedback I got from so many people for such a long period of time. So we'll see as this is floating around out there archived and as people watch it later, because most people watch these live feeds after the fact, and we'll see how many messages I get and how many inquiries I get, and we'll see. First glance, not so great, not so encouraging, but we'll see what happens. So feel free to share this if you think it's worth anything at all, because this is the first test run like this of its kind. And I look forward to hearing from some of you that genuinely take an interest in writing me to tell me about it, or you can leave your comments here too. So if you agree or disagree with any of the content itself, you can voice your grievance or your approval, your disapproval, your violent disagreement, your praise, or you wish as well. Okay? Bye everyone. Take it easy. My website is tombirkenmeyer.com. Just take out the space. Spelled just like it is on social media. And isn't my guitar beautiful? I was just playing that before I started this thing. In fact, I just uploaded another video of me playing this thing before this, so you can scroll back in my timeline and see it if you wish. Okay? Bye, everyone. Take care. Mwah!